Hello, today I'm going to be painting this vibrant landscape painting in Procreate. I'm not using any brushes. I'm using the select color fill tool in Procreate, which I use pretty much all the time now. I like the way you get sharp edges, and I just like to make things kind of look graphic designy without using the vector programs out there. Because I find them very boring and because they take so long. But this is quite a nice mix of traditional painting and getting that nice clean graphic look. So as you can see, I'm already underway, and what I'm really trying to do first is get the big shapes in. This is the most important part, and it is really going to determine what the painting's going to look like. So I'm not worried about detail. I'm just worried about are the shapes nice, and what that really means is there a contrast between the size, the shape, the angles. Some are big, some are small, etc. And you just need a variety of shapes that will make the composition look nicer. Now, the opposite effect of that is having too many shapes that are similar, and it's quite easy to accidentally do that. So I'm quite slow at this part. This painting took me, I think it's about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. But because there's not so much detail, it's about the major shapes. Now once I have the major shapes, I'll break it up. Now, if you're painting traditionally, or you're trying to paint realistically, which I do sometimes, the process is fairly similar to what I'm doing now anyway. Is you start with big shapes and you go more detailed and more detailed. So it's not actually hugely different. The outcome's quite a lot different, but that's because I stop early and I stop where that my shapes are broken down enough that I'm kind of done. But I'm going for the poster look, like I said, the vectors. So I'm still working on the small shapes, sorry, the big shapes, and you'll see me going from generally from the back to front. But you'll notice, like I'm doing the clouds now, is I got a weird system, as I always leave the clouds. I'm not entirely sure why, but clouds, I don't know. I mean, if you paint a lot, you'll have something you're kind of fearful of, I guess. And I'm always fearful of clouds. I don't know why, but they've always given me problems. So even though I should probably paint them after the sky, or at least the first mountains, because they got to go underneath the mountains. So until I have the mountains, I can't paint these clouds. But I kind of leave them a little bit too late because I'm worried about messing them up. And so let me know in the comments if you have something like you're fearful of. I would be pretty sure that everybody's got something they don't like to paint, and the clouds are a bit of a nemesis for me. But anyway, I have the basic mountain shape in. So once I got the shape in, I'm looking for shapes within shapes. So I kind of forget about the entire painting, and I do that as a process for every shape. Forget about the painting, because it's overwhelming to think too much about the painting because there's too much going on. So I localize the problem, if that makes sense. So I've got a mountain at the background. Now I need to make this look interesting. Now forget about the rest of the painting to a point. I mean, you kind of gotta have harmony, all right? So it needs to be in the back of your mind, but I try and concentrate on one of these big shapes at a time. So if you're looking at this painting now, I've got the big back mountain peaks, and I got the mid mountain peaks. I got a bit of grass, foreground, and a bunch of trees. So generally, when you're looking at any landscape painting, we want between 3 and 5 big shapes. Now that's not a hard rule. You can go 2, or you could do 12 probably. But what really works in simple terms is like 3, 4, 5. And I generally end up with about 5, and it works well. Sometimes I try for 6 or 7 and it doesn't go well. So this is why I'm trying to say 3, 4, or 5 less, and then it kind of has to be a perfect composition. You know, if you're doing, you can do 2. Clearly you can't do 1. Well, I don't know, prove me wrong. But 2 or 3, you can definitely do that too, but you kind of got to nail them, where you get a bit more forgiving around 4 or 5, because there's a few things to look at. So if you don't do so great on 1 or 2 of them, the other ones can kind of make up for it. So as you can see, I'm not really I don't want to over explain what I'm doing here. You can see what I'm doing, and it's the same concept over and over. So it's a big shape, small shape, small shape, and I'm using a couple of tools in Procreate. Check out my other videos. I will talk slightly more in depth about some of the tools I use, but I'm basically using the select tool all the time. I generally don't use brushes for this style. Sometimes I might use like a little brush, because sometimes this select tool is hard to get if you're going really small. But like I said, I try not to get like too detailed. But you can see what I'm doing, these little road markings. This is supposed to be a road, even though it's blue. Maybe it looks like a river to you, but it's supposed to be a road. And I think it'll look more like a road when I put the shadows on and stuff. But it doesn't, yeah, I guess it doesn't look much like a road now. But this is supposed to be a representational painting, right? So if you look at it and think it's a river, that's fine. If it's supposed to be a road, doesn't make any difference. Not really. The reason that it's blue is because recently I've been doing a bunch of these painting, and I realized that whatever's on the ground, if you make it the same color-ish as the sky, you kind of get like a nice harmony, where if you pick some other colors, it's actually quite tricky. So I've started doing that. Now, I've only just realized that it probably looks like a river, but hopefully it looks a bit more like a road at the end, because the color shouldn't matter too much, but the fact that it's got the white bits on it probably looks like foam, you know, from a river. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So what I'm doing again is I'm breaking up, adding more shapes, adding more interest. Now, one thing, if you struggle with colors, you know, it's a tricky subject, and I find lots of the time I'm doing trial and error. So if you ask me like, how am I doing color, I'm looking at it, I'm tweaking it, I'm changing it, and I generally don't have like an exact, you know, it's gonna be this color, it's gonna be like, I don't know actually. I'm just trying things. Does it work? Does it not work? Does it look weird? If it looks weird, I'll try again. So this will hopefully make it look a bit more like a road now, because I'm putting shadows, cast shadows from these big trees, and the bottom one is coming from big trees off the canvas, which is a nice trick to do. Slightly a bit more advanced, but you got to kind of like imagine that is a big clump of trees off the canvas that are casting a shadow onto the road or river, depending on what you think it is. And that works quite nice. I don't see it that often in kind of beginner paintings, because I guess you have to imagine outside the canvas. So that's a nice trick when you're doing landscape paintings, is don't pretend that the landscape ends at the edge of the screen. It clearly doesn't. So kind of pretend that when you're painting these things, there's things going outside and they poke in. So things like shadows obviously cast quite far, but also for other things like trees and branches and whatever, like twigs and whatever. So imagine there's a tree outside what you're actually painting, and put some of the tree going into the painting. So one thing like beginners do, and I used to do, of course I was a beginner at some point, is that I only cared about the canvas that I'm painting, and I didn't really think like what else could be outside of this frame, and everything was a bit like inside this frame. Pretend there's not a frame, you're just drawing a bit of it, and there's outside stuff going on. So I think it makes a big difference. It might seem like it doesn't, but it does. So hopefully that looks a bit more like a road now. I'm putting like some kind of like lampposts. I didn't really want to go overboard, but I just wanted some vertical interest going on. So I'm tightening up these shadows now by putting black over the top, and then I'll drop the opacity down, clicking on the N on the layer, and then just dropping it down so it blends in nice. And so then we've got the shadows making more sense. So there we go. Hopefully you found some usefulness in this. If you did, give me a like and a sub, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.